Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Meaningful Marketing webinar, How to Get Referral Sources to Heart Your Home Care Agency. I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday, and I know your time as home care agency owners or administrators is extremely valuable, so we feel positive that what you're going to learn today will prove to be wise usage of that time. For today's presentation, we've placed everyone on mute mode, so if anyone joins us a little bit late, then they won't interrupt us. However, if you have any questions, there is a little question box to the far right of your screen. Please feel free to enter your questions either during the presentation or during our Q&A session at the end, and we will try our best to get to all of the questions during the presentation, but if we miss it during the presentation, we will certainly follow up with you afterwards. My name is Marissa Snook, and I am one of the managing directors at corecubed and also the administrator of the MOST program. And I guess this year, in November, it will be 10 years that we've been doing the MOST program, so that's pretty fantastic. And I've been working with home care marketing since 2005 and work very closely with all of our MOST program clients to help them get the most out of the program. Marilee Orsini is our featured speaker today, and she is the president and CEO of corecubed and truly a pioneer in the home care industry. Marilee started her own home care agency many years ago and grew it to a very successful agency, sold it in 1996, and has been helping other home care agencies throughout the country with strategic marketing practices. She is a frequent speaker at events all over the country, so you may have heard of her, and we're glad to have her here today to present. So I will let you take it away, Marilee.
Well, thank you, Marissa, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to talk today about love, about really creating referral love for your agency. And there's lots of things that go into that, and I'll tell you, we ask you all questions about what did you hope to get out of this educational webinar, and your questions were spot on. I think you will find that it's not easy to actually get your referrals to love you enough that they're going to start referring to you, but there are proven ways to do it, and we certainly do know how to do that. And Marissa will come in later and talk about how we can help you do the things that I'm talking about to create referral love. So basically, this is some of the basics, and this is really the bottom line. And again, there's a lot going on here and a lot that you have to understand. Before I talk about this, I do want to say that we talk about marketing, and in the home care industry, marketing is often used as the word that means the person that's going out to make visits. What we're talking about when we say marketing is really the strategy behind how you go to market and what makes people pay attention to you and what makes them trust you and what makes them then call you. So there's a lot of obviously human-to-human connection involved in this, but you can create a presence that is of interest to people and that will make them love you enough to want to call you and make referrals. And that starts with branding, and branding is really a good foundation. And branding is more than just your logo. It's really explaining to the world what the essence of your business is, why you're in the business, and what it is that you are bringing to the table that differentiates you from everyone else. You also, in this day and age, absolutely have to have an internet presence, and that is a comprehensive internet presence. You have to have a website that's interactive, you must be active in social media, and you have to be getting people who love you to give those reviews and talk about their love. The other thing is education. Do you know, this industry, the home care industry, is a complicated industry, and you must have a strategy that is going to combine educating people about how to use home care and what is appropriate for home care, and then you also have to really pay attention and listen and reflect on what your referral sources are asking you, and then obviously networking is a huge component of marketing and sales for at-home care. We're going to talk about turning those sales visits into something more than just a sales visit, and you're going to do that by arming yourself with helpful resources that are answering some of the questions that your referral sources clients or your referral sources patients are asking them. And the key here is arming yourself with helpful resources that will make you appreciated by those referral sources, and they'll start to love you once they know that you are really trying to help them help their clients and their patients. The other thing is customer service, and training for how do you answer the phone, from how do you provide the direct care to how do you run the office and interact with people who are your customers. And I'm defining customer as a much wider range, not just the person you're caring for, but their family and the people that pay their bills and other people that are on the care team. So people really do have to have some strategy there for customer service. And then you must have a state-of-the-art communication system, and that simply means internally and externally you have to be communicating with your referral sources so that they know what you're doing and they get a good idea of what it is about your agency that there really is to love. Now let's talk about some empty gestures that do lead to broken hearts. So the kind of things that we hear from people is, people are saying, I'm bringing the same thing to my referral sources, and I bring the same brochure in my business card. And if you're doing that, that is definitely not going to make them love you. The other thing is swag and treats, and sometimes swag and treats are appreciated, but then there are other times that the person is busy and they really would prefer to have something helpful that helps them with their clients and their patients, and not necessarily just something that's about them. The other thing, reciting that same old love poem, the same old marketing spiel that you do. This is who I am. This is what I do. Please refer to me. That same old refrain, and that is not going to make them love you much at all. And then if you have clients and you have referral sources that love you, then you need to get them online to give you some reviews and to rate your service, so that if you are providing that quality service, that you can then showcase that to referral sources. Nothing says this agency's a keeper better than these reviews. I just talked about that. You have to know what you're doing right, and you have to know what you're doing wrong. Now, I'll put a little plug in here for Home Care Pulse's customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction surveys and the work that they do, because if you know what your clients and what your employees are saying about you, and you know what you're doing right and you know what you're doing wrong, then you can start doing more of those things that are right. And you know that when someone is out looking for love, they're going to be looking for people who they know are doing the right thing. We do, by the way, and we're not selling this today, but I guess we're always selling it, we do have a reputation management system. We're not going to talk about that today, that really does help with these online reviews. So, and it is a known fact. We have statistics now from some of these review sites that people who have more reviews are getting more inquiries than those who either have none or maybe just one. Although I will say the people who have one review are getting more inquiries from that than the people who have none. So if your customers love you, then you need to tell those referral sources also that they love you, because the referral sources really want to be able to refer to someone that they trust and someone that they know is going to be a good fit for their patients or their customers. So how is it that you woo your referrals? How is it that you can make them remember you and actually be happy to see you, and yes, to even learn to love you? We talked about this a little earlier. I mentioned it, but bringing materials that help them do their job better. When you are there and you've got their audience, ask them, if they could educate their clients or help their clients, what would be the one thing that would help their clients the most? And then have them tell you what that is. And then the next time you visit, bring them a tool that they requested, branded for your agency, that then allows them to give it to their clients or their patients so that they can help them. And you really have to ask them. This is where I used to call it active listening, but I call it reflective listening now, because what you really need to do when you get in front of that referral source the first time is let them know that you want them to be able to do a good job and you'd like to help them do their job better. And so you can really inquire from them what it is that their clients and their patients are asking them that they have the most trouble with, and then see if you can't provide a tool that would be helpful to them, and continue to ask that question and continue to bring different tools when you visit. Much better and generates far more love than simply your business card and your brochure. So some examples of things. What could help their clients? There's all kinds of things, and Marissa will go into this later when we talk about the MOST program, but you can bring things that will help caregivers do their job better. So tip sheets, it can be on a lot of different things. You know, how do you do a safety check in the home? How do you communicate with someone who has Alzheimer's disease? What's a way to approach a bath if you've got a resistant person who doesn't want to take a bath or is afraid of going into the bathroom? So things that will help their clients. Newsletters is something that sometimes, if the newsletter is written correctly and has helpful information, that they might be able to pass on to their clients to answer some of those questions that their clients have. And then your website should be interactive and chock full of different things that will offer tips, that will offer care guides, that will offer information, that will link to how people can have help no matter what the issue is that makes them be in a situation where they are starting to need care or needing care. Now I'll throw a plug in here for using a professional marketing firm, since that's what we are, and Marissa will talk about the tools that we do create for referral sources. And again, everything should be branded to your agency because you are extending your brand, and every time that referral source gives one of their patients or their clients your material, they're having helpful resources to answer those questions that they have about care, and they're also getting information about you, and they know that you would be the one that they would contact if they have a care need. So communicating with your referral source is imperative because you do need to be in front of them often. And I mentioned this earlier, but it is true. People do business with people they know and trust, and people do business with people that they respect. It is a mutually beneficial relationship when a referral source trusts you enough to refer to you, and then you take care of their clients or their patients, and that will help them extend their reputation because they've made a very good referral. So reaching specific referral sources, how specifically do you do that? Well, you give them content that educates, informs, and helps. We've talked about that. SEO, that is search engine optimization. What that means is you have a website, it is interactive, but it also has to conform to the rules that will help you get ranked on the top of the first page for those terms that your clients or your referral sources or your family members or people on the care team are actually searching for. Collateral material to answer people's questions, to explain why you're in business and what it is that you do and how it is that you provide the quality service that you provide. Those are important things to have to be able to support what it is that you're saying about your business, and then keeping in touch with them by emailing them. And if you can make that email specific to something that they're interested in, that's all the better. Or if you just have information that would be of interest to them because they're in the aging care services industry or the healthcare delivery system, then that also works. So how do you find the best mate for your agency? How do you find which referral source would be better for you to start with, because you have lots of options out there? You know what you really ought to do is think about starting where you are right now. Take a look at your client base and see who is it that's referring to you right now, and why is it that they're referring to you. And once you understand that, you will need to really look deeper and find out what is it that you're doing to keep them happy, and what is it that you're doing to keep them referring to you, and then move beyond that and really explore what is it that you could give to them or that you could do for them that would make their job easier and have your agency be top of mind when they have a potential referral for you. Now I'm going to talk just a little bit about private duty targets. And one of the things that I think is so difficult in the private pay market is, I was thinking about this earlier today, when you learn marketing in school, or you learn marketing in workshops, what you're generally learning about is you have to know who your target is, and then you segment to try to get more in front of that target. But one of the issues with caring for an elderly parent or an elderly spouse or an elderly relative is that there's not really a demographic. We know some of them. We know adult daughters do more searching, but basically people who are looking for care could be anyone. It could be anyone at all, not just someone within the healthcare delivery system or someone who fits those certain demographics. So for a private duty target, it's really anybody from anywhere who knows someone who might need care and who can afford to pay for it. So when you're looking at more specific targets, though, if you really track who has already inquired about your service, who called you just to find out information but doesn't really know where to turn or who to go to, and keeping those targeted names so that you can communicate with them ongoing. And for referral sources, there's the traditional medical referral sources, and then there's the non-traditional medicals. And I have lists of all these. If you want those, we have a wonderful resource on our corecubed site that really goes into, we've been doing education about how to reach the market for a long time, and so I have lists of all those. And if anyone wants them specifically, ask us. We'd be glad to send them to you. But there's also, again, this is a really wide swath of people, non-traditional referral sources, who have clients who might need home care. And I'm just going to give you a couple examples of how referral sources, which ones fall into that bucket. And things like if you have people in a spa, for instance, that are doing hair or nails or massage or some type of Tai Chi or exercise or yoga with people who start to have care needs. That's a very non-traditional referral source. Another non-traditional referral source is school counselors. Oftentimes, families become in turmoil or have turmoil because they have a family member that needs care, and that can affect everyone in the family. And so there's lots of those non-traditional referral sources that, again, shouldn't be at the top of your list, but if you do your marketing correctly, then they are going to find you because they're going to understand that you are the one that could meet their needs. The other thing, and this is new for our industry, the network extension that is happening right now in hospitals and in other healthcare delivery systems. I've not ever seen anything like it, and it is happening nationally. So there are people all over who are looking for partners, looking to extend their service, looking to reduce readmissions to the hospital, and there's all types of people out there right now, those C-suite executive types who are looking for people to help them extend their care and to provide a better service level and not strictly staying in those home health silos like they used to. If you run a Medicare agency or a hospice agency, then your traditional referrals are within the system. So that's your medical referrals. And then you also now, we're starting to see for Medicare and hospice that you have people who search for information for their family member who would be covered by those services as well. So it is important that you do the same things that we're talking about here for private duty for a Medicare and a hospice market. And the bundled payments and the accountable care organizations and the medical homes that are being created, those new models of care are also looking for people in the home health spectrum, because home health is the least expensive form of service that you can provide someone, and people are looking to reduce the cost and keep the quality high. I'm going to circle back and talk a little bit about the value-added materials that I've talked about before. We mentioned helpful resources. We mentioned information on your website. We mentioned collateral, but not specifically. Marissa will go into this more, but specific issues patients and clients are facing, and you can put those in a brochure format or a rec card format, and you can actually get your referral sources to use those and to put those where the public can have access to them, and that is people getting your information, and when they need a care need, you will be the one that they call. The blogs and the social media, those are blogs specifically are excellent for search engine optimization and driving traffic to the website, and also for relevant information on the topics that you will write about that are of interest to people for home care. Traditional media, never forget traditional media, because what I've noticed, this is my 36th year now, hard to believe, in home care. And what I have noticed is that the media is constantly hungry for the same information, because having a reporter go through an elder care experience, either with their parents or with a friend's parents, that really makes them interested in this whole topic. So there's always media that are interested in what kinds of things affect people who are aging and how can they age better and more independently. We've talked about emails, and email marketing is definitely still working and definitely something that should be incorporated as a component for your outreach marketing. We haven't really talked about education for the community or education for other referral sources, but if you are capable of speaking and can present and have credentials that allow you to do that, then it is a wonderful way to get in front of people who are interested in the specific information about care. The other thing is you can take that presentation and you can parlay that presentation into a lot of communication through social media and through your website and through traditional media, and that information that you are sending out about the fact that you're presenting positions you as an expert, is relevant information that pertains to your industry, and is a great way to not only help SEO but also to get your name out in the community. And then sponsorships and community involvement. You know, the one thing I always tell people for sponsorships and community involvement is if you have a natural inclination to want to be involved in something. For instance, we have some clients who have been through care for their parents or for their grandparents, and they have a specific interest in a specific disease organization. It just makes sense for them to continue that relationship, but then to try to get on the board, to sponsor that disease organization, to be available to take pictures and showcase involvement on social media. There's lots of ways that you can do that. But the other decision-making criteria for which places you should become involved in or sponsor might be, where are the referrals that you are targeting? Where are they active? Because people do business with people they know and trust, and if you are interfacing with your referral sources on a regular basis in that networking environment, then you're going to have a better chance of them wanting to refer business to you. And that's all part of staying connected. Finding opportunities to get in front of them. Again, it can be all of the lists that I've just gone through. Making certain that you are putting relevant information up online and that you're also using helpful information, because that's what people are searching for. And then building those relationships, once you're introduced to someone, once you communicate with them a lot, once you meet with them several times, and once they've actually used your agency, then they will become a trusted referral partner and you will become a trusted referral for them. So the bottom line to this is that you should really be spending your time converting those inquiries into clients and providing them excellent services so they will remain long-term clients, and then they can also refer their friends to you later. And then we have these wonderful, fabulous things that Marissa's going to go over, and we really have been specializing in home care for a long time, and there is a difference. People who understand the industry certainly know what it is that they need to talk about and what types of information those referral sources might need. So let us do that, and then you just take care of your clients. Marissa, I believe I am finished with my component of this, so let's talk about the MOST program.
Happy to do so. The MOST program is going to take all of that wonderful advice that Marilee has been talking about and bundle it all up into this wonderful, affordable online marketing system. It's developed specifically for home care and home health care agencies and will allow you to have those materials created, ready for you, and branded for your agency in a very quick way. It's sort of like shopping on any other online shopping center, but instead of shopping for the latest novel or socks, you're shopping for marketing materials to make your agency stand out and develop those relationships with referral sources. It doesn't matter whether you're a brand new agency, whether you've been in business for many years, whether you have 3 different office locations or just one, the MOST program is adaptable for you. It uses strategy and understanding of the industry. Marilee mentioned that we have been doing home care marketing for a long time. That's our niche, so we really understand where it has been, where it's going in the future, and the marketing materials reflect that. This next graphic shows you how the MOST program works on a monthly basis. It does work on a monthly cycle. So at the beginning of February, our clients were making their selections for their March materials. So in that blue section, you can see, well, let's start at the purple section because that is incredibly important. Because we have so many different things to choose from in the MOST Member Center, it's very important to start with a marketing strategy that really specifically fits your agency, your strengths, and your targets. Once you have that strategy in place, then you will be better able to make selections in the MOST Member Center that fit that strategy, will help you get the best bang for your buck. We also have, after you order those materials at the beginning of the month, and we work on branding them or writing them or producing them for you, you also have the opportunity to watch some of our educational webinars. We have several webinars that are only available to MOST members. We've had great guest speakers come in and talk on a wide variety of topics that will help you with marketing your agency, with sales for your agency, inquiries, and many other topics. And all of the materials that you ordered are delivered at the end of the month. We do all the dirty work for you. We post things on your website if you've ordered web materials. We get your Facebook ads up if you've ordered those. We have PowerPoint presentations ready for you. Print materials are sent to the printer, etc. So we take care of as much of that work as possible for you so that you can focus on making those relationships with the referral sources and serving your clients. So what are some of the benefits that you will have if you follow the program? We've had lots of clients do incredibly well when they followed the program and have grown, and some of them have even sold their agencies and moved down to a life of retirement in Florida. So we know it works. You will definitely be having more referrals from more sources. There are materials in the MOST program that specifically target a wide variety of different referral sources. you will get more referrals from clients because you will be able to focus on serving them well, building your reputation with them. They're going to be happier to refer you, and with the materials that you have, it will be easier for them to refer you. Better name and brand recognition. When you have your brand out there in the market in a variety of different pieces, whether that's through press releases, doing in-person presentations, material on your website, postcards in the mail, it's going to extend that brand, and people are going to start recognizing you. I have heard time and again these wonderful agencies who provide excellent services, and they say, you know, people just don't know about us. Well, that's where we can come in and help you with that. And of course, with these materials that are educationally based, you guys are going to be seen as the experts in care. So if you have someone who has, maybe they don't have a need right now and they're just looking for answers on care, you know, they're going to get hooked on your materials that are going to answer those questions. And when they do have a care need, or they know someone else who has a care need, your name's going to be on their lips. Most program, why do we recommend it? We've been offering it since 2007 with wonderful results for our clients. They've seen their more referrals come through their website, more phone calls asking for inquiries, and the referral sources are much happier to refer to them because they see them instead of as a pesky salesperson coming into their office giving them a brochure. Suddenly it's a relationship where they're getting helpful materials that help them do their jobs. You're going to get a marketing partner that understands the industry. I say it again a million times. Marilee started with a home care agency. We've been working with home care for a long time, but beyond that, a lot of us who work at corecubed are your target audience. Several of us have clients or parents or family members that use home care or are in situations with care needs, so we really do understand how to reach your target audience. And I think that you will find that it really will save you a lot of money, not just in the time that, you know, because time is money. You're going to save a lot of time making materials, developing the text and putting all of the images together and making it look professional. It takes a lot of time, and you won't have to worry about that anymore. And the way that we have the most program priced, you're going to save dollars on those marketing materials as well. And you don't need to take our word for it. We have won several awards throughout the years for the most program and for the materials within the most program that we've produced. So there's a listing of some of our awards there. And I'm hopeful that we'll get a few more coming in this year. Every year we're producing new materials for the most program. It's always growing and changing. And so we always have new items to submit for awards. So here's a list of specifically some of the things that you're going to find in the Most Member Center. I like to tell my clients, you know, pretty much any marketing materials you can possibly think of, we probably have it in the Most Member Center. Postcards, rack cards, flyers, brochures, email newsletters, blogs, educational content for your website. We also have wonderful recruitment materials and advertisements as well. The way that we've organized materials in the Most program, and I'll show you inside the Member Center in a little bit, but the program originally started out with creating a variety of materials around a central theme, such as Alzheimer's awareness or COPD or the benefits of home care. And we have over 55 different themes now with a suite of marketing materials around each of those themes. But the way that marketing has changed over time, not everyone sticks with a theme. That strategy still works for a lot of our clients to stick with a different theme every month and have all of their marketing materials around that theme. But some of our clients are going specifically for certain referral sources, and they want all of their materials to target those referral sources. And we have lists of materials that do just that. We also have lists of materials that focus on operational issues. So if you're having, you know, let's say you want to have clients return back to you who maybe have left in the past. we have great client relationship building materials in there. So lots and lots of options for just about any strategy. How are you going to get the most out of this program? I'll say it again, develop that strategy. Some clients don't, or some agencies don't have somebody on staff who is good with doing presentations in the community. So ordering PowerPoint presentations may not be the best thing for you. Some agencies have 5 different people who go out there and develop relationships with the referral sources. So for those agencies, having great materials to bring with them when they visit those referral sources is going to be a necessity. Other agencies really want their strategy to focus just on online content and e-newsletters because a lot of their clientele is out of town. So think about those sorts of things. Identify who's going to be your best targets. How are you going to best reach that target audience? Is it going to be through direct mail? Is it going to be through social media? And what is going to be the most helpful information for that target audience? And as Marilee mentioned, a lot of times that just means asking and asking again. Each time you go in there, hey, you know, what's going on with you guys today? Are you having certain issues that come up with your clients that they need answers on? Is there a particular topic that they have? And you may have to lead them down that path of giving suggestions for different materials that you have, and until you strike a chord with them and find something that's going to help them help their clients or patients. And now we're going to do the tricky little dance of Marilee passing me the controls so I can show you some examples of the most program materials as well as a peek inside the most member center. So Marilee, can you see my screen?
Whoops, I can.
Excellent. All right. Some of you may have seen this already, but I just wanted to point it out just in case. The website is mostforyourmarketing.com, and if you click the portfolio section or on the home page, it's you can see a nice little award. My computer's going to be slow, but this is the sample artwork. Then it brings you to the portfolio, and you can click on each of those items to view them a little bit larger so you can see some samples of rack cards and brochures, calendars, flyers, etc. To get a little more granular, I wanted to show you some examples of the e-newsletters that we have in the MOST program because they are one of our most popular items. Some clients like to order just a plain e-newsletter. They've got a great e-newsletter list, but they don't want to use them as blogs. So this is just a regular newsletter with the full articles within. Other clients want to have that bundle package of an e-newsletter with blogs on the website and those posted to social media as well. And this is that option. So you can see the articles are a little bit truncated, and then you click the read more and it leads them to the entire article as a blog on the page, and then we also push those to their social media as well. The nice thing about these e-newsletters is that at the top, not only do you have links to your website, but you also have an opportunity for people to like this newsletter, and they can post it on their own social media accounts so their audience can see it and share your newsletter, and same with Twitter as well. Another popular option that's growing in popularity right now are Facebook ads. In my studies, I have found that for the home care industry, oftentimes Facebook ads do better than pay-per-click. I know some of you are at this point because we're so addicted to pay-per-click. And that's probably a conversation for another day, but just something to stick in your ear to think about. So this is an example of a Facebook ad on a client's account, and it advertises a particular flyer. That's a MOST flyer. So MOST created that ad, we created that flyer, and we also created this landing page. This client is very good at email marketing using the Most e-newsletters, so they want to collect contact information so that they can continue to market to a new audience. So that ad drives them to this landing page, they enter their information, and then they get the flyer. And again, all of this is through the MOST program. This client has resources on their website, and they wanted their ads to drive people to the website. So this is an example of that. So that Facebook ad was through MOST, and here's the materials on their website. That is also from the MOST program. And here's one more example of resources on the client's website. There's the banner from the MOST program on home modifications for safer aging in place. And then they have the resources on their website, as well as lots of other resources. This is a great way for people to find you online. Lots of helpful information, and oftentimes it helps salespeople too, because they can go right to your website and print off some of these brochures or flyers when they need them for an in-person visit with the referral sources. All right, let's jump into the MOST Member Center. So if you become a MOST client, you get your own username and password to log into this Member Center. It's only viewable by members in the program. We have lots of tips and information. Let's look at the categories first, so you can kind of get an overview of all the different types of materials that you can choose from. And one thing I haven't mentioned yet, but I think is incredibly important, is that these materials are very well designed, they're well researched, they're beautiful materials, they're branded for your agency. You want to stand out when you're when you're going out there and building those relationships. You don't want to hand somebody a flyer that doesn't look fantastic or that has some other logo on it that isn't yours. It's got to have your logo, your contact information. It's got to be eye-catching, and it's got to answer questions. So these postcards, somebody had, in the pre-webinar questions, somebody had said, what if they just tell me over the phone, these referral sources, if they say, just send me your brochure, and I can't even get that in-person visit. What I would recommend are these postcards. I've had clients who started sending these direct mail postcards to referral sources, and suddenly they were able to get in the door because that hospital was able to see this agency is producing helpful materials. This agency is very professional. It's not like the other agencies. And in fact, when the salesperson went in for their appointment, they saw their postcards hanging on the bulletin board behind the receptionist. So that was pretty cool. I'll show you another example. Our postcards, a lot of our postcards have two different versions. One if you're sending it out to consumers, and one if you're sending it to referral sources, because obviously that language is going to be different. You get photo choices with the MOST program, so this is just showing you a few different samples of different photos that you can choose. And you can, all of the headers and colors on here change to match your branding. I think that's another piece that helps make MOST stand above some of the other companies out there. We hand brand these. Everything is done to your specifications. If you have text edits on these, you can request text edits. I don't think there are many places out there that allow you to do that on materials like this. Let's go back to the categories and show you a brochure and show you how to order one, how easy it is to do that. So here's clients needing short-term care after a hospitalization or surgery. Let's say we want to order this. You can see the price for this particular item here. And let's say I want it designed as a rack card instead of a brochure. And here's your photo choices. So you get choices for the different, here's for the front, and for the back of the rack card. If you have text edits, you can enter them here, or if you have any other requests or changes. Otherwise, you hit no, and then you hit submit, and it brings you over to your shopping cart. It's pretty simple. looking at the Targets tab, I mentioned this briefly earlier. Here are our maps to what materials in the MOST program will work with these particular referral sources. Marilee mentioned some referral sources that are non-traditional. Here's a really non-traditional one targeting funeral home directors. We did a lot of research calling funeral home directors across the country and giving them situations of, hey, have you ever had a client in there who, they were talking that the person who was caregiving died before the person needing care? Oh yeah, every last one of them. Absolutely, we've come across situations like that. Well, have you ever had a home care agency give you information to provide for those clients? No, we've never had a home care agency give us that. Well, would you be willing to hand out information like that? Yeah, absolutely. Every last call that was made, that was the response. So there's a non-traditional referral source that's untapped. And here are materials that you can use to help them refer to your agency. So you can see a little list of some of these other targets here, targeting hospitals, very popular. Like Marilee said, a lot of people are looking to reduce readmissions. So if you have want to develop a suite of disease care materials, materials on how to help people with diabetes, with COPD, anything like that, we've got those in the MOST program in brochures, rack cards, postcards, PowerPoint presentations, on and on. You name it, we've got it. So let's jump back to the presentation. Marilee, I'm going to let you take the screen back again, and we're going to cover pricing and a couple of other fine details that I'm sure you're interested in. All right. The next thing I believe we're going to see on the screen is our map of where we currently have MOST clients. This is important because we feel the MOST program is very special, and we want your agency to have the benefits of being the person to hand these wonderful materials out to referral sources and not your competitors. So we only allow a limited number of clients into a specific territory. So if you see your area lit up, if you see your towns listed, you may end up being on a waiting list. We do have clients who've been on a waiting list sometimes for multiple years for the MOST program, because typically clients tend to stay in the MOST program. It's very addictive and it's very helpful. But if you don't see your area, give us a call right away if you're interested so that we can secure your area for you. I think that gives you a little bit of an idea of where we've got clients right now. Before we jump over to questions, here's probably the biggest question on everyone's mind. What is this going to cost me? We have two different pricing options. It is $1,000 a month for either a 6-month commitment or a 3-month commitment. And the difference between the 6 and 3 months is that with the 6-month commitment, you get full access to the MOST Member Center and all of those webinars from our experts that we've talked about. With the 3-month commitment, you will not get your own login to the Member Center. You will make all of your selections with a MOST team member who will walk you through the process. That option is a great option for a new agency who isn't able to commit to a longer time period but really needs to build up some print materials to bring to those referral sources to start developing those referral relationships. It's very flexible in how you use those $1,000. You saw, I think on the brochure, it was $300. To give you just a quick example of how you could use that $1,000, you could order a brochure for $300, a postcard for $300, 2 Facebook advertisements, so that'd be $200. So we're at $800. We've got $200 more. You could order a couple of blogs. So all of that for $1,000. It is pretty priceless when it comes to the results. I know some agencies go, oh, I'm not quite ready to commit $1,000 a month to marketing. But there is a testimonial on our MOST for Your Marketing website of a company who felt just like that. and he bit the bullet and has never looked back. In fact, that is the client that's now retired in Florida. So it was definitely a good choice for him. And when you think of all of the time and money it would cost to do a custom brochure from scratch, you know, that would be well over $1,500 when you're working with a professional agency. So you can see how that saves money over time. I will mention that with the print materials, print pricing is not included. So you can print locally, you can do small print runs, you can print and reprint. If you do leave the MOST program, anything that you've ordered is still yours, and you can keep reprinting that if you'd like. We also have an option to use some of those dollars for custom marketing needs. So for example, if you need your website text refreshed, you can use some of your MOST dollars for those custom projects. So that's what I mean when I say that it's very flexible in how you use those dollars. We have a couple of testimonials on the next page that you can take a look at while we answer some questions, and then we'll put up our contact information on the screen as well, but I'll let you have a few minutes just to take a peek at what others are saying about the MOST program. So if you do have questions at this time, please type them into the little question box, and we will answer those now. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Marilee.
I love this question. Can you spend more than $1,000 per month? That was not a plant. Yes, you may spend more than $1,000 a month, and you can even spend less than $1,000 a month, but your financial commitment is $1,000, and you can save up if you don't spend $1,000, you can save up the rest of that for either custom work or for those months that you would like to spend more. We have another question here about the managed long-term care insurance contracts, and how would we help you secure those? You know, this goes back to the strategy of, if you are providing a quality service, looking like that you have a quality service. And for those managed long-term care contracts, you really do need to do networking, but you also need to communicate with them. So all the things we've talked about for other targets also work for MLTC contracts. It's just you have more work for the MLTC contracts in terms of finding out who is the person you need to talk to and getting in front of them fairly often. Marissa, would you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that was well put.
And also there's a question about, do we have information and material specific for home health? Yes, we do. We have material specific to home health, and we have material specific to hospice. So we do have some of the material works for both, but we also have those specific to those other two models of care. Marissa, that's it for my questions that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any else. We'll put up our contact information, so if you think of any questions that you want to ask later, you'll have our contact information there. We will also be posting this webinar up on our CoreCubed website under corecubed.com/events. Just scroll to the bottom of the page and you can see past webinars. So you will get a chance to review this again later if you'd like.
Well, thanks everyone for your attention today, and Marissa, thank you. You always do a fabulous job, and I'll tell you that there is nothing else like this on the market. So I encourage you to spend some time exploring the MOST program and to sign up before it's gone in your area. I'm going to end the webinar now if we have no more questions. So everyone, have a fabulous day, and we're not far away from spring, I hope. Thanks, Marissa.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.